Good morning, everybody. BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so now let's talk about the Western Conference Finals Game 2. Golden State Warriors, Dallas Mavericks. We know the deal. The Golden State Warriors are rebounding the ball. Beyond all other things, aspects of this game, you got to acknowledge that over the last the playoffs, the two series, they have crashed the glass and made teams pay for not boxing them out. That has not changed. They're doing the same exact thing to the Dallas Mavericks. They've called Kevon Looney's number, and he's been terrific. Steph Curry had 12 boards in that last game. I neglected to realize that. I went through the whole video talking about rebounding and didn't realize that Steph Curry was doing the Russell Westbrook thing. So big kudos to Steph Curry for ultimately understanding what the assignment was. Crashing the glass, and I love that aspect of his game. If he does that all series long, pushes the pace himself, gets them into early transition three-point shots, is only he can make good shots because most players try that stuff and it ain't a good shot when they do it. That's a recipe for success for the Golden State Warriors when he's rebounding like that. There's no way around it. Absolutely no way around it. Okay, so also we want to continue to see good things out of Andrew Wiggins. He's been great in these playoffs. Otto Porter Jr., I think those are the two players on that Golden State Warrior team that I think is going to help them with a lot of the 50-50 balls, dirty work, offensive rebounds, things of that nature, transition plays. I like those two players on this team a lot. They are wings that are actually ascending in value based on the circumstances the NBA is seeing, with wings having more value, defensive perimeter players having more value. Guys like Otto Porter Jr. and Andrew Wiggins actually are worth more right now than they were in the offseason. So they've been great for the Golden State Warriors. Absolutely great. Klay Thompson, I neglected to say that he started pulling his game together in the second half because I didn't watch much of the second half, to be completely honest with you. What I saw from Klay was a whole lot of struggles in the first half. And he really did do some good things in that third quarter, kind of pull himself to a respectable percentage. Klay Thompson hopefully can carry over that momentum into this game because I'm still waiting on Klay to be Klay. I know he's been struggling. I don't think he's going to turn back into that defensive juggernaut that he once was before the injury. But the shooting numbers, I don't accept these shooting numbers. I think that man can hit any shot at any time. And I think as he continues to get stronger, that's going to reemerge, which should concern everybody because, with the scoring struggles of the teams that are left, a guy like Klay Thompson could shoot any of these teams out of it going forward. So I'm waiting for him to get it together. I think we're seeing the beginning stages of that in game 1, second half, and I'm hopeful that that is the case for his team's sake. All right, let's shift over to Dallas. Let's look at them. Luka Doncic. So Kevin Harlan, it's been reported by the Undisputed guys that Kevin Harlan reported, so this is third, fourth degree stuff, separation, rather, degrees of separation. Luka Doncic was allegedly sick after game 1. Now, I don't know what that means. They didn't mention nothing about COVID. They didn't mention anything about flu-like symptoms or anything like that. They just said he was sick. And, I don't necessarily know what to think of that. I haven't heard anything about him being questionable for tonight or anything of that nature, so I'm just going to assume he's going to suit up and play. One thing that I noticed, though, looking at the highlights that Undisputed put up there of Luka Doncic's attempted threes and misses, what needs to be said is that a lot of those shots were some of the same shots that the Heat gave the Celtics yesterday. And what I mean by that is the same distance, because I saw a reel of those same shots that they gave them. The same distance that they were playing off of guys like Grant Williams and Marcus Smart in that series was the same distance the Golden State Warriors played off of Luka Doncic on his three-point shots. In other words, that's not going to work. The Golden State Warriors must defend a three-point shot better than they did in game 1, despite having success doing so, because what I'm telling you is that's too much space. They gave him, man, way too much space on them shots. A lot of those are going to fall. So if they're expecting Luka Doncic, if the Golden State Warriors are hanging their hat on the Dallas Mavericks only scoring that amount of points, they're going to be caught off guard just like the Miami Heat were caught off guard yesterday. Simple as that. We're going to see something like that happen if the Golden State Warriors expect that defense was good enough. The rebounding was good enough and the scoring was good enough, but I'm here to tell you that they need to play better defensively. And I'm also here to tell you that they may not have what they need to guard a guy like Jalen Brunson off the dribble. Um, Andrew Wiggins is going to have to continue to play well in that situation, stay out of foul trouble, because they are limited in those situations. I'm still trying to figure out where Jordan Poole stands defensively. Not to say that he's played one way or another. I'm telling you that I can't seem to figure out if he's a good defender or not. So I'm gonna be continuing to look for that, see how he switches out on people, see how he handles one-on-one matchups, see how he handles off the ball defensive assignments. So that's just a learning thing for me. I'll figure it out. Reggie Bullock, I want to see him shoot better. I know he has a lot of defensive responsibilities, and we talk about that a lot, but his inconsistency is a problem because he takes a lot of shots. They rely upon him. He finds himself open a lot in them corners, and those three-point shots need to fall, man. Him being an average three-point shooter is a big issue. He has to get better in this series. He has to shoot better, period. I think a good portion of the Dallas Mavericks' ability to score the ball lives and dies on his hand. Also, the Dallas Mavericks in their rebounding situation. I got on Dorian Finney-Smith not having one rebound. That was false. He had 7. It was an offensive rebound that I was looking at. And he does need to do better in that regard. But his defensive rebounds, he had 6 of those. He needs more credit. But at the same time, I wasn't impressed with the rebounding. That's the point. Regardless if he give me 1 rebound or 7 rebounds. If the Golden State Warriors out-rebound the Dallas Mavericks by 16 to 17 rebounds, I'm going to need more rebounding from him, and I'm going to need more rebounding from everybody else on that team as well. Maxi Kleber, if he's going to come in and get some minutes out there, he's at his best when he's crashing the boards. The Golden State Warriors have to have some resistance on the glass in order for them to feel any pressure in this series. Because as long as they continue to pull down those boards and get those easy buckets off of missed shots from the Dallas Mavericks, they're going to be getting in transition for easy buckets with fast players like Wiggins and Poole. So I do not like what I saw in the first game from the Dallas Mavericks from a multitude of situations, even though a lot of their situations there were just missed shots. Ultimately, a lot of what they did wrong was not crashing the glass and not playing defense well enough themselves. So, I'm looking for the Dallas Mavericks to tighten up all the way around. I understand you're on the road. I understand it's the Splash Brothers. But at the same time, you have Luka Doncic. Jalen Brunson is gaining steam. And you guys should feel very confident in your scheme, led by Jason Kidd, to be able to do some damage. As I mentioned in the previous video, and I'm sure everybody knows this already, Jason Kidd is from the Bay Area. So dropping games in the Bay Area, I'm sure it doesn't sit well with him on a special level. So I don't think they're going to come out tonight and have the same approach as they did in that last game. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to beat the Golden State Warriors tonight, but I don't expect the Golden State Warriors to out-rebound them to that degree. I don't expect the Golden State Warriors to have as much success on the perimeter, guarding the perimeter, because I do expect those shots to start falling at some point for the Dallas Mavericks. They are a three-point shooting team, and at any given moment, they can go for 33-point shots. And I'm not talking about attempts, I'm talking about makes. They can light them up, and they can light them up fast. So just like the Golden State Warriors, the Dallas Mavericks are going to have to get hot from behind the arc, but they're going to have to take those shots in smart ways. Don't just jack up bad ones. More Spencer Dinwiddie. He's starting off this series well. He ended the last series well. That's a great thing. They're going to need him to continue to attack, be a threat from behind the arc, of course, and facilitate. He has that ability. He has natural point guard abilities. The team should, in theory, be better when he has the ball in his hand, just like Luka Doncic. They can get each other the ball, and they can get Jalen the ball, so that's important. I think all of them need to have balanced scoring. I don't see enough balanced scoring out of Dallas in general these days. When they closed out the Suns, there's only 3 people basically scoring. In the last game, they didn't have a whole lot of scoring going out everywhere. They need more balance on their scoring. More attempts from others, more makes from everyone. So, I think we all agree that Luka Doncic wasn't himself, which means that he is going to come out and play better tonight, I'd imagine, unless he's entering some type of ungodly slump, for which we don't expect. I'd expect he's going to have a big number tonight. He's going to have over 30 points. He's going to have over 12 boards. He's going to probably have over 8 assists. And, as I said, I think the Golden State Warriors would be wise to adjust how they were defending him on the perimeter. That's the bottom line. I know he missed them shots, but what I saw was the ability for him to hit those shots in the next game, and the game after that, and the game after that. And very easily could the Dallas Mavericks get hot from behind the arc the way they were being defended. So that's real. More Von Looney is a good thing for the Golden State Warriors, not just right now, but probably for the rest of these playoffs. They got to give themselves a healthy dose of him to keep Draymond fresh, because Draymond's going to have a lot of responsibility. Draymond's been great, as you know. Start this series, he's gotten off to a good start. I kind of just pencil him in almost as a superstar in my mind because of what he does for both sides of the floor. Besides scoring, he pretty much does everything. So it's almost like, and I'm going to say it, like it's almost like I pencil him in as any as a superstar, I don't consider him very much. He's going to do what he's supposed to do because he's a Hall of Famer and one of the best defenders of all time. So he's going to do what he has to do. It's just upon the guys around him, the bigs particularly, to give him spells. I want them to use Jonathan Kuminga a little more in this series. I don't see too many players on that floor for the Dallas Mavericks that would be able to stop him from doing anything he wants to do. I can see him crossing somebody over and slamming in their face 5 and 6 times a game if he really wants to. If they don't put Dorian Finney-Smith on him, I don't think they have a single soul that can guard that man. I'm just being honest with you. This is a series where you can really exploit his athleticism, speed, and his overall skills. That boy can light him up. I look at a guy like Obi Toppin and what he was able to do at the end of the season for New York. I think Jonathan Kuminga could do everything that Obi did, with respect, of course. I just think he's that good. So it's one of those situations where it's about the fit and what the role is for the player. And Kuminga just didn't have a really big role, which is great because I don't think he's ready for a big role and believe he will be so long as he stays in this system and plays behind these guys, learns from Draymond and stuff like that. He's going to be infinitely better for being in this situation than, say, Sacramento or something. So this works. This very much works. What else? On the Dallas side of things, Jalen Brunson. When you talk about Jalen Brunson, you understand he's going to attack from the inside. You also understand he's going to shoot a bad percentage from behind the arc. And that is something I want him to shore up. Take the open ones. Don't force anything. You're at your best when you're off the dribble, getting that little 10-foot range, a little 8-foot range, shooting little bank shots, killing teams that way. Continue to attack doing the things that you do, because honestly, the Golden State Warriors can't guard him. As I said at the beginning of the video, I don't think they have a single soul that can stop him from doing what he does without getting in severe foul trouble. Simple as that. He's going to put you in foul trouble. Just like I said about Jaylen Brown in the Celtics series, I say the same thing about Jalen Brunson. They're going to drive and put pressure on the rim. And as they do so, guys get removed from the series because they get in that foul trouble. And that is a golden ticket for a team that has less depth than the Golden State Warriors. So, more attacking from him, more attacking from Spencer Dinwiddie, and I want to see some scoring out of Dorian Finney-Smith, the guy who I said is the second best player on this team but doesn't get utilized that way, which is absolutely fine because you don't need to run plays for guys like that. But that doesn't mean that they don't hold the value that I believe they do. Dorian Finney-Smith, with his length, he is the answer for a lot of things, but he has to be that. He has to believe himself to be that. You can't give a guy an opportunity and he don't believe in himself and he just go out and kind of play average. No, this ain't the time for that. You got to give me some of that 25 and 10 rebound, 3 blocks, 2 steals. Like, I'm not saying that's the line he's going to give me, but I'm saying that's the production he's going to give me on his best day, and they need that. The Dallas Mavericks need something like that from Dorian Finney-Smith. 11 points, 7 rebounds. That's average, fam. That's average. And while people believe you to be an average player, I know you got more in the tank than that. I know that. So I think he needs to step into his best self, ball out, and seize the moment, just like every other player in these playoffs. Seize the moment. You may not get another opportunity like this. Not to say that you won't, but it's to say this is possible you may not. So everybody needs to put it all out on the floor and make them possessions count, man. Don't have yourself having nightmares over possessions you threw away. That's what I tell any and every player out there. So that's what it is, man. Turnovers, Golden State. You turn the ball over too much. It doesn't get talked about enough. The Golden State Warriors do turn the ball over. The problem is Dallas Mavericks are one of the worst teams in the world at getting in transition and getting out in the fast break. So something has to give there if the Dallas Mavericks want to have success. You got to force them into turning that ball over. You got to put pressure on those ball handlers. You got to put pressure on those guys, with the exception of course, Steph Curry and Jordan Poole, of whom if you pressure too much, could be deadly for you. But at the same time, it's like you gotta find a way to force that team into turnovers. As soon as Draymond gets the ball, swarm him. We know the boy don't dribble like that. So I've seen throughout these playoffs, teams have success stripping him, and that's something that the Dallas Mavericks need to take advantage of. Reggie Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith. When Jason Kidd leans on them with high minutes, he has had success. Games where those two players have 40-plus minutes, he's had success. Why? Because they are a terror. Defensively and on the offensive end, they're capable of lighting you up from behind the arc and hitting their free throws. So I liked that when he did it in the last series. I think he needs to give the Golden State Warriors a heavy dose of Reggie Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith for defensive purposes. Now, we've already complained about Reggie Bullock shooting, so it can be a problem if Reggie's going for 1 for 7, 1 for 8. If he's having a night like that, you got to abandon it, of course. But if he's having a good game, that's the recipe that I like. Keeping him out there, regardless of Luka and Jalen and all those guys are playing well or not. Make them hound whoever the defensive assignment should be. And understand, Dallas Mavericks have so many different weapons they have to account for defensively. So you're going to give up something. I think in-game adjustments and understanding who's hot and who's not against matchups such as that is important. Because throughout the game, you may be sitting up here saying, man, we got to stop Steph Curry. He's going 1 for 10, and Wiggins is going 8 for 16 or something like that. You need to switch your game plan to stop the weapon that's kicking your butt right then and there. Not necessarily the weapon you were planning for. And you got your plan and you're sticking to it. This ain't that kind of series. The Golden State Warriors attack you from too many different directions. You may mess around, see another 20-rebound game from Kevon Looney. You're going to have to stop that bleeding before it gets out of hand. You may mess around, see this is a Klay Thompson game. You're going to have to stop that bleeding before it gets out of hand. So this is the problem with the Dallas Mavericks, which is why I didn't pick them in this series. It's too many different things to account for, and you are going to have to stop the bleeding if something you didn't account for takes place right away. And I don't know if the Dallas Mavericks, depending on what that bleeding is, can stop it, depending on what it is. So, like I say, versatility, length, speed, all those different things ultimately come into play when you're talking about how to adjust to things that come your way in playoff series. Yeah, you may be able to catch a guy off guard with this or that, but let them do the wrong thing. And you can't adjust to it, now you're getting out of here. So we've seen that many times. It's why series start off a certain way and end completely different sometimes. So we'll see how this goes. These are two very good coaches, Steve Kerr and Jason Kidd. This game is obviously in San Francisco. And, you know, I don't really know, man. I've been so wrong, to be honest with you, in my predictions and trying to figure out who's winning these games. I was completely opposite of the last game. I think I had the first game wrong, too. The Heat game was wrong. So my predictions have been off. I think what I've learned, though, is when you're dealing with these type of games where the teams are, you know, fairly small, you can count on certain things being consistent. The rebounding situation is going to be consistent. You're going to see more Golden State rebounding, in my opinion. The three-point shooting, these are three-point shooting teams, so you can count on three-point shots going up. So certain things you know are going to happen. With that being said, if Luka Doncic isn't 100% or if he's not healthy, even if he plays, if he's not himself, that's going to hurt the Dallas Mavericks severely. So I'm inclined to take that little bit of information and hang my hat on it tonight. And I'm going to say the Golden State Warriors are going to win this game tonight at home and take a 2-0 series lead in this series. Dallas just has too many things they have to account for not being healthy as well to be a problem. That's going to be a real killer. So maybe he has a flu game. You know, obviously MJ had a flu game. Sick, played better. Who knows? But as far as I'm concerned, if Kevin Harlan's report is correct, Luka Doncic is at 100%, and that matters a whole lot going up against this Golden State Warrior team. If Golden State keeps their turnovers down, guards the perimeter better, continues to rebound the ball, I think they're going to run away with a victory tonight. Sending this thing back to Dallas. So that's what I got, man. 20 minutes of talking about this series. I'm pretty sure there's a lot I left out, but at the end of the day, I didn't watch a whole lot of that first game because it was a blowout, man. It wasn't very fun to watch. So it is what it is. Hopefully Dallas can put up a bigger fight tonight, better fight tonight. And yeah, that's what I have. Thank you all for watching BDL 44. And I'm out.